Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, today we are talking about sugar again, but different kind of sugar. Today we are talking about sugar in whole fruit, not some fruit juice, fruit extract, dried fruit, or fruit smoothie. No, we are talking about whole fruit and simple sugars in whole fruit. Now, I post almost all of my food on Instagram, and I accumulated a lot of keto people in my followers just because I used to follow a keto diet for almost 5-6 years, and I learned a lot, and I learned how to coach people through keto diet. But then I switched just because it stopped working for all of my goals, specifically my energy levels. And I just also didn't feel mentally that sharp anymore. So anyhow, guys, now 6-8 months back from now, I started eating more fruit. I started to break my 18-hour, 20-hour fast with a bowl or plate of fruit that was about and is still about pound and a half. And a lot of people started to ask me, isn't all that fruit sugar bad for you? Isn't it making us obese or at least diabetic? And scientists have been asking themselves the same question, isn't this fruit sugar? Because of all the recommendations, from governmental institutions, you hear eat your fruit and vegetables. So from one side, we hear that recommendation for healthy, lean body mass, for healthy body. But then on the other side, you hear all these diet gurus or even a lot of medical doctors who are into low carb movement saying that we should limit our fruit, and fruit sugar is ultimately bad for us. And some even say it's poisonous because it's metabolized in our liver, and apparently our liver doesn't do much of anything but metabolizes poisons in our body. Anyhow, guys, besides all that, scientists who didn't have any conflicting interests but just wanted to figure this piece out, so they've been asking the same questions. Isn't all this simple sugar, fructose and sucrose, and all the combination of all these different simple sugars, because in fruit there is not just fructose, even though that predominant sugar, but there are also sugars. Isn't that like all that sugary stuff bad for us? But when they started to analyze the actual data and looking at people who are obese and people who are lean and maintain great health, there was a correlation, anti-obesity correlation. So the leaner people were, the more whole, fresh fruit they seem to enjoy. And the more obese people were, the less fruit they would usually have in their diet. So you would think all that fruit eating would make us fat and diabetic, but the opposite seemed to be happening. And so let me read to you something from this paper. It's called Paradoxical Effects of Fruit on Obesity, and it is published in National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health. So it's quite a great resource, and you can find the link to this article in the show notes. So again, the scientists were trying to look at fruit consumption in relation to obesity and different metabolic diseases like diabetes or cardiovascular disease or cancers. And so what they found is through different mechanisms, fruit consumption had anti-obesity effects. And so some of the proposed mechanisms that they are thinking might be taking place, why fruit has anti-obesity effects is, for example, fruit might be decreasing total calorie intake because fruit has a lot of water, has a lot of fiber, and if you eat whole fruit, not again some juices or smoothies, because actually juices were shown to have the opposite effect. Seems that the more obese people are, the more things like fruit juice they seem to consume. But whole fruit, it seems to decrease the total calorie intake, again, probably because of the volume, but also because of different compounds in fruit, like different phytochemicals. Probably because of that, also they provide prolonged satiety. So when you eat fruit compared to some sugary stuff, fruit keeps you fuller longer compared to, croissant. There are some micronutrients that might not be essential for human health, but they do seem to change human health in a beneficial way, again, decreasing the amount of lifestyle diseases or metabolic diseases people have, like diabetes or cardiovascular and obesity and everything, in between. They also proposed scientists are thinking that fruit is affecting our gut microbiome in a beneficial way, changing the variety and the kinds of gut bacteria, specifically gut bacteria that are found usually in lean people compared to obese people, because there are certain kinds of bacteria that are more often found in lean people than in obese people. And so fruit seems to increase the amount and improve the function of those bacteria. Let me read to you something else. So there are like different studies. So fruit reduces caloric consumption. Again, scientists speculate that it's because of water and fiber content and all these phytochemicals that change our gut microbiota or microbiome, that changes how our whole digestive system and metabolic pathways work. Fruit provides prolonged satiety. Fruit micronutrients influence obesity-associated metabolic pathways. So micronutrient deficiencies or deficiencies in vitamins and minerals are correlated with obesity. So basically, the more a person usually deficient in a lot of nutrients, the more obese usually that person is. Specifically, vitamins A, E, C seem to be present, deficiencies in those vitamins in obese people. So the influence of vitamins on fat mass reduction is attributed to leptin resistance and downregulation genes involved in adiposity. So basically what it means, it seems that certain vitamins and minerals change our metabolism in a certain way, and also the expression of genes in a certain way that we do not deposit that much fat on our bodies. And so fruit is among those foods that does provide quite a lot of vitamins and minerals, especially if we take something like vitamin C, right? And so therefore, the presence of more fruit might positive and might affect our obesity or lack of in a positive way. Non-essential phytochemicals in fruit augment their anti-obesity effects. So I think this is a very interesting read for a lot of you guys. Most fruit phytochemicals are not essential. So phytochemicals are those different compounds that fruit have that they're chemicals, but we don't know what those are, all of them, and how exactly they affect our human health. So most fruit phytochemicals are not essential for our vital function of human nutrients, for vital functions of human nutrients. However, they have desirable health benefits by decreasing the risk of multiple illnesses such as cancers, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity. In particular, fruit phytochemicals explicitly have anti-obesity effects, according to numerous studies, by beneficially altering multiple physiological cascades. For example, reducing oxidative stress via antioxidant properties, suppressing the creation of fat body mass, inhibiting the differentiation, so basically again, inhibiting the creation of new fat cells, and stimulating the usage of fats in our body for energy. So basically, plant chemicals in plants seem to have double effect. They seem to help us to use fat for energy more efficiently, and they also seem to prevent our body from depositing or storing a lot of fat. And then there is some information about different phytochemicals that can be found in fruit. Effects of fruit on gut microbial ecology. So the dietary components that influence the gut microbiome ecology are enriched in dietary fiber, and polyphenols can increase the ratios of so basically this passage is talking about how different compounds in fruit in studies are proven to change our gut microbiome to be a microbiome of a leaner person, not a obese person. And that's one of the ways scientists think how fruit has those anti-obesity properties. And then we have this really interesting passage, undiscovered mechanisms. And I really would love you to pay attention, guys, more right now. So fruit are complex biochemical products of plants. The detailed compositions of various fruit are known, but the biochemical compositions of each fruit are not well understood. Every year, new types of phytochemicals are reported in different fruit with various beneficial health properties. In addition, the complexity of obesity is well known because various impaired molecular and physiological. So basically, obesity is also not well understood. And therefore, given the unknown biochemicals in fruit and their relationship with obesity, various mechanisms are probably undiscovered, and it will take several years before they are discovered. So this passage is saying that, yeah, we know, it seems to know the major components of fruit, but we don't know everything, and different chemicals are still being discovered in different fruit, and we don't know how exactly what kind of influence or impact those fruit chemicals have on our health. And we also don't know how exactly obesity works. And so we don't know the exact ways how that interaction happens between fruit chemicals and our bodies when it comes to obesity. But from all the evidence, we see that people who eat more of fresh, whole fruit seems to be healthier, leaner in all the other ways. Now, nobody's saying that fruit causes us to be healthy and super lean, but there seems to be a very strong correlation, that not causation, meaning that people who eat a lot of whole, fresh fruit, a lot compared to people who don't eat any at all recommended amount. So it's not like somebody's eating tons of fruit. Just some people, like myself, we eat fruit on a regular basis as a part of a balanced diet. So anyhow, it seems from all the evidence that people who do eat whole fresh fruit, they are leaner and healthier than people who do not. And there is no evidence showing that consumption of whole fruit, not fructose in the form of soda, so there is no evidence showing that whole fruit has any negative effect on a human being, especially on a healthy human being. Fruit has any negative effect on any aspect of health or on gaining weight. It seems the opposite, that the more fruit whole fruit people eat, the leaner they are. But when it comes to things like fruit juice, it has the opposite effect. So in fact, it seems that people who consume things like a lot of fruit juice, they have more fat mass than people who do not consume that. So my recommendation stands as I've been advising to a lot of my clients and people I work with. You don't have to go keto and low carb to be healthy and lean. You can eat your carbohydrates, and fruit, sugar in form of whole fruit can keep you healthy and lean as a part of a balanced diet. I'm not recommending you to become a fruitarian or eating, a lot of fruit, like till you drop, right? So everything gotta be in moderation, no matter what you eat. What else? I also recommend to most of my clients who are trying to quit sugar to first start replacing your processed sugars in the form of white flour or any kind of processed extracted sweeteners, to substitute that with a piece of fruit. So anytime you want to reach out for some sugary snack, pastry, or a piece of pizza, because that's also flour, basically sugar. So every time you want to reach out for that, choose fruit instead. And you're gonna feel less hungry, much less hungry for longer. And maybe you'll also get those anti-obesity fruit properties that the scientific papers that you can find, the link to which you can find in the show notes, is talking about. That's it for today, guys. So fruit sugar, according to all these studies, to all the evidence, actual evidence we have, fruit sugar in the form of whole fruit does nothing but good for us, for our gut microbiome, for our lean body mass, for our overall health, metabolic health, and otherwise. So please do enjoy your fruit. And you don't have to count every carb in them. And bananas are fine too. Those just different questions and comments I get on a regular basis. So please do enjoy your fruit. Don't try to deprive yourself from that amazing food source that is largely not understood well, and there is no evidence showing against it. So it has any negative on our health and on our lean body mass. So that's it for today, guys. Fruit sugar talk. Fruit is amazing. I love it. I do recommend it. But everything, again, should be considered in moderation, not in some crazy amounts. That being said, guys, don't forget to share this episode with anyone who has anything against fruit. Ask them to show you the evidence, the actual evidence done with whole fruit, not with fructose, separated from whole fruit or made in a lab. So enjoy your fruit. Reap all the benefits, all the health and lean benefits. And till next time, besides enjoying all the fruit, till next time, eat better daily.